Hi, guys. Welcome to the SuSanity Life show on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. My name is SuSanity Life. I'm the host here. Super excited to be here on this new year, 2026. Can't believe it. It seems like it went by so fast last year, but so excited to be here. And I'm so grateful for Kimberly Adams, who's my guest today, because I think her story needs to be heard. I think a lot of times we don't realize in life how people try to take advantage of a system that should not be able to do that in many ways. And then they bring all these ridiculous whatever to the public eye or whatever. It's just so crazy. So I want to introduce Kimberly Adams to my show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
She's from Circle of Friends Daycare and from Worcester, from everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So introduce yourself a little bit and then.
I am Kimberly Adams. I'm the owner of Circle of Friends Daycare for 24 years. I'm a mom of 4, and I've been married for 22 years and with my husband since high school.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
And then we're going to start today because I don't know why I'm being drawn to do this, but I'm going to read from Jesus Calling, which is a book that I always read from. And it's today, January 7th. So it is impossible to praise or thank me too much. As it is written, I inhabit the praise of my people. Sometimes your adoration is a spontaneous overflow of joy in response to radiant beauty or rich blessings. At other times, your praise is more disciplined and measured, an act of your will. I dwell equally in both types of praise. Thankfulness also is a royal road to draw near me. A thankful heart has plenty of room. When you thank me for the many pleasures I provide, you affirm that I am God, from when all blessings flow. When adversity strikes and you thank me anyway, your trust in my sovereignty is a showpiece in invisible realms. Fill up the spare moments of your life with praise and thanksgiving. This joyous discipline will help you live in intimacy of my presence. So I think this part, when adversity strikes and you thank me anyway, your trust in my sovereignty is a showpiece in invisible realms, is for you.
Oh, thank you.
I think that what you're going through right now is awful, and we're going to talk about it. But first, we're going to talk a little bit. So you said you were married. You've been married for 30 years, and you have 4 children.
I do.
And when I first got here, you told me one of your children's getting married.
Yes.
Yeah.
So exciting. Yes. In August.
August.
To his high school sweetheart as well.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
Yes.
So
yeah.
my son Michael's getting married in April,
Mhm.
and he met his fiance in college.
Oh, very nice.
Do you know where you're going to have the wedding? Is everything planned?
Yeah, everything's
okay.
planned. Yep. Now I just have to find a dress. She's got her dress. I've seen a picture of it, but we're going to go to her fitting, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping my son cuts his hair, but sorry.
That's okay. So how long is his hair?
Oh God, it's that new style that the mid-20s kids are doing.
Yeah. So my son's is down to his butt.
Oh yeah, no, he just has like the mullet, and if he's listening, he's going to kill me. But yeah,
That's okay.
Well, I said to him, I said, "Does she like it?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, that's all that matters." But if I was near you, I'd shave it. So.
Yeah. Timmy always wears a bun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
Although in the 70s, 80s, didn't we have that too?
Yes.
I think they're like reliving.
Yes.
And they're telling us all the time, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a Gen, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And we know more. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah. So you're actually going down the same exact trajectory that we went on in the 80s.
Yes.
So
Right.
how different is that?
I know.
Really?
I know. I'm waiting for the moment where it's like, Mom, you are right. I'm waiting. So we'll see. We'll see if it ever comes. We'll see.
I have a plaque that my son gave me, and it says that on there. It says, Mom, you were always right. Thank you. Or
Yes.
like
Yes.
that.
I'm
He
waiting.
gave it to
I
me
might
for
never
Christmas,
hear it, but
yeah, he gave it to me Christmas like 2024.
Yes, that's right.
So, you grew up where?
Worcester until 5th grade.
Okay.
I went to Gates Lane Elementary, and then I moved to Spencer.
Okay.
And I was in Spencer until I graduated high school.
Okay. And then did you open your circle of friends right away, or did you do something prior to that?
So I worked in the corporate world for.
Oh, that's right. You worked at All America.
Yes.
That's right. Okay. I'm
Yes.
thinking now.
Yes.
So I worked at All America.
Okay. Yeah. I was in the retirement services.
I worked when I first started there. It was with domestications,
Okay.
and then it went to 100 Flowers.
Okay.
and then it went to Lotus corporate
Oh, okay.
computer company or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So I first started in the oh God, I forgot what it was. I think it was like something management where you'd get like the all the mail and you'd open up and you'd start out their policies, and I did all that. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, and then I went to retirement services and I had my daughter and I was working and she had broke her ankle in kindergarten. And it was just like you're leaving again. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a mom first. Like I have to do this. And so I just didn't like the constant stress of like disappointing the adults, because I was young. I was only 19, 20, and I had my daughter at 16. So she was 2 or 3 and she broke when she was 5, but I left there and opened up my business. My mom ran it for me so that I could take that leap of faith because I had a house and bills. And then she had got my clientele up for me. And then I was able to
you were very young when you had your first child.
Yes.
That must have been interesting.
That was interesting. That was interesting.
But what a beautiful experience at the same time.
It was. And, it was very hard. And I'll never forget when I got home from Planned Parenthood because I thought I had the flu for 3 months. I was getting sick on the bus, sick at school. And my mom was like, Phil, you better take her to Planned Parenthood. And I went and we talked a little bit on the way there. And then when the nurse says, so what are you going to do if you're pregnant? I'm like, I'm not pregnant. And she's like, but you're 3 months pregnant. And I was like, okay. We didn't talk the whole way home and we got there. My mom knew by the look on my face that I was not happy. And I went to the bathroom. I was crying and she's like, honey, we'll get through this. And like those moments, and I knew she wasn't happy, but at that point you can't take back what's done. And, so she was very supportive and, we did get through it. She raised the kids for the first couple of years of their life so that I could work. And then that was it. And then I chose this job, and that's one thing that I take a lot of pride in. And I'm just fortunate that it's a job that I chose because I loved it. And you have to love that job. It's not something that you can do and be good at for the money, right? Some people, and I'm like, it's not great money. And maybe some people are doing great and that's great. But for me, it was truly what I love to do. It was, and I coached sports for years. So it was just a great opportunity and it's scary. And I finally got myself to a place in my business where I was the boss. And then this happens and I'm just like, really? I don't understand it. And I sit and I think to myself, I'm like, all right, God has a plan.
Yes,
so you have to go with it. And I'm thinking, why? Like, why did this happen to me? Why me? And that's where we are.
I love your mom. I loved your mom. I thought that she was just every time that she was around people, she had this presence of just life. She really did. And
Yes.
And when Chris came on the show, your brother came on the show, I remember him. We talked about her a lot and her genuineness and her compassion and her funniness. I mean, they did the comedy stuff together and it was just so lighthearted and just a beautiful spirit, just honestly a beautiful spirit. So you wrote kind of in your notes that when you were 8 years old, your neighbors had a drum corps. Talk a little bit about that. Let's go back a little bit to before you turned 16.
Okay.
Your life a little bit.
So we were in CCD and I remember that the classes started going to people's homes and my mom was like, nope, she's not going to anyone's home. So they made us quit. So I wasn't in any sports. I think I played soccer, but I broke my arm. I was very clumsy, chipped my teeth running down the stairs. Like it was just what it was. So my friends
you sound like me when I tell that story about what happened to me today. What the heck?
So my friends across the street, I was talking about drum corps and I'm like, drum corps, what is that? So I snuck and we went to a practice and my mom was working and she's like, you're not joining that. And my oldest brother like despised it. He did not want us doing it. And not Chris, my brother Bob. And so we had went and we're like, oh, this is really cool. And I just loved it. And so like a lot of people probably don't know what drum corps is, but it's like a marching band, but not through school. So it was the Leicester Satellites. And we would travel all of the United States.
Do they still have that?
No, they have drum corps, but it's so much. It's like it's insane now.
Because I don't remember hearing anything about that when my kids were in school there.
Yeah, no, there's no school. It's not a school thing. It was like a town-wide thing. Yeah. So we had kids from everywhere and we would travel the United States on a bus and we would go out and we'd wear these crazy, ugly uniforms and we would compete. And it was great. I played the horn and we laugh about it. Like
you played the horn.
I did.
Oh my, do you still play it?
Probably not. I haven't done it in years and I don't know if I could, but my brother was the drum major. My sister was in the color guard and I played the horn. And but I tell you, it was discipline. It was hard work. It was, you really had to love it. And I was like, anything that I do, I want to do to the best of my ability. Yeah. And I'm not perfect, but I'm like, I am going to do this well. And I was young and I had a solo and it was just, we had a great time. It really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen your family all around at Rascals and stuff, and met Phil and you're the dynamic with you just have this beautiful connection as a family, and the last time I was there, of course, during your mom's celebration of life, and I remember just every time I'm there and you guys are there together, as like everyone's it's like this feeling of joy and peace, and just you have like this. I don't know. It's just, I feel really grateful. And that's why I wanted to have you on today, but also to tell you a story, of course.
Thank you.
So, you wrote, after 24 years of running your business and building up your business to where you finally felt like you were a boss, you were in a good spot and not allowing anyone to walk on you. That's what you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to this whole crazy situation, tell me how you decided so let me just tell you real quick. I have 3 kids. You have 4 kids. I have 3 kids. When I was in school at trade school, registry here, it's not there anymore, but it was, I was in early childhood. That's what I went to school for. I went to Quinsig to get my early childhood, degree. And during the whole time I was thinking to myself, there's no chance that I'm going to do this, because to see kids all day long and then to go home to my own kids, I was like, I think I would be square my hair out. And so I left that and ended up going into business instead. And then occupational therapy and all kinds of stuff. But, and now I own the clinic, but it's like, how did you know? Did you feel like you knew the moment that you decided to open it? Like, how did that start?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I just knew that I loved children, and I loved, that's a great question, Susan. I don't really know what made me know that, but it just was something that I felt. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to open up. All right. This is funny. And this is going to sound kind of maybe not very nice, but it's just how I felt. I'm like, if I'm going to deal with children, I want to deal with children. I don't want to deal with adults that act like children. So that is kind of the mindset, because when I tell you that I was so stressed out going to work every day, I didn't want that feeling. And with me, everyone says to me, Kim, I don't know how you do it. How do you do it? How do you coach, at nighttime and run a daycare and have 4 kids and still keep your household and your marriage? And I don't know. It's just what I was good at. It's just what I enjoyed doing. It's just what I loved. And so when I opened up the daycare, I'd gone through every avenue of the stress and the tears and the blood and literally all of that. And my husband was my biggest advocate, and he'd say, babe, it's your business. You run your business. And I always felt bad. I always felt bad for families. I always felt bad for the kids. People would walk on me. And finally, I'm like, you know what? And then I get frustrated because I'm like, I would never do that to somebody. I deal with providers. I talk to my provider friends on our sites and Facebook, and friends of mine that I've helped open up daycare. And we talk about it. And it's like, I want to be the next best option for our family. Like, I would never try to replace a parent. You can't. But to be able to be a successful mom, wife, all of that, you need to feel safe dropping your child off somewhere. And that is what I tried to be. And so for this to happen, I'm just like, I don't understand it. I really just don't. And it happened to me for a reason. And that's.
Yeah, we'll get into what happened in a minute, but when we come back, actually. But because I want to hear the whole story too, because I watched you on TV, because you were on what channel? Channel 7. And you told your story, which was, and I watched a little bit of it, but not the whole thing, because I wanted to have you here. I was planning this for a while, actually. And then when you were like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, awesome. Because I think that your story needs to be heard for many reasons, because you just brought up corporate America and the dynamic in corporate America. I mean, look what's going on in this world that we have right now. We don't even know half the time for up, down, inside out, whatever. And then you go through something like this for really zero reason, but they're trying to make it be a reason. It just makes zero sense.
There's bigger fish to fry, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, we're going to come back very soon. My name is SuSanity Life. I am the host here at SuSanity Life Show at 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection on Unity Radio. I'm here with Kimberly Adams. She's going to talk a little bit more about Circle of Friends, a little bit more about her life and her journey and things like that. I'm the owner too of SuSanity Life in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. If you're looking for a holistic wellness clinic, you can come and see me there. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Alvin Familia, president of the Manny 267 Foundation, and you are listening to Unity Radio, 97.9 FM. Worcester Community Connection.
Hey, what's up, Worcester? This is Jacqueline Carr, and I'm inviting you to be inspired with me every Sunday starting at 6 a.m. with the Jacqueline Carr Show on Unity Radio. I'll get you going with a motivating word, special guest, the absolute best music, and a few other surprises. But you gotta tune in on Sundays at Unity Radio to find out. It's Jacqueline Carr, and the Jacqueline Carr Show is happening Sundays from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. right here on Unity Radio 97.9. Worcester's Community Connection, and also streaming on WUTY.org.
Hi, I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show on Unity Radio 97.9. Join me and my guest as we discuss topics on embracing our diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hello, I'm Pastor Sharon Henderson of Covenant St. Andrew's United Methodist Church, 24 Hamilton Street, Worcester, Mass. We welcome you to worship with us every Sunday at 10 a.m. Let's worship together and love one another. I'm Sharon Henderson, pastor of Covenant St. Andrew's United Methodist Church, 24 Hamilton Street. We welcome you to worship with us at 10 a.m. every Sunday. Let's do it together and let's make peace.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Breakfast presents Celebrating Unity and Hope. Monday, January 19th, 2026. Doors open at 7 a.m. Program begins at 8 a.m. Keynote speaker, Dr. Jennifer Davis Carey of the Worcester Educational Collaborative. Join us at Assumption University, 500 Salisbury Street, Worcester, Mass. Purchase tickets and find more information at qcc.edu/MLK Breakfast.
You're listening to Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hey guys, welcome back to Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. My name is SuSanity Life. I am the host here at the SuSanity Life Show. Super excited to be here. I'm also the owner of SuSanity in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. My website is SuSanityLife.com. Do Reiki, polarity, massage, therapeutic, and sports. Polarity, if you've never heard of it, is Reiki on fire. It's the best experience that you'll ever give to your mind, your body, and your soul. Clearly, it clears out every single thing. And I'm here with Kimberly Adams from Circle of Friends, and just who's a friend of mine who I wanted her to share her story because I feel like what happened to her should not have happened. And I want people to share this because I feel like she's might not be the only one that this has happened to. And that very often when we're going through things like this, whether it's in the Worcester community, in Boston, and in Connecticut, and where else is there? Rhode Island, I don't know, but somebody else might have gone through this that might be able to give some light or shed some light on this crazy thing that's happening to her. Ugh, my heart is like in my chest right now because I still can't believe this. But anyway, so back to what we were talking about a minute ago. So your daughter, that's it. So is it your daughter that's 16? That's not 16 that you had when you were 16.
Yes.
Okay, it was a girl.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience because we were just talking about mom, and now I want to kind of go back a little bit.
Yes. So I found out I was pregnant. I found out April 8th. I'll never forget that day. And she was due November 21st. I ended up having her 5 minutes before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So
What a gift.
I know, right? Yeah. So
yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. So all my kids were like holidays. It was crazy. My husband's Christmas Day. My son that's 25 is 4th of July. My daughter was due on Mother's Day, but I had her 3 weeks early. Yeah. So it's crazy. And my birthday's a holiday anyway because it's my birthday. That's what I tell my family all the time. But yeah,
I love that. And my birthday's
so
a holiday too because it's my birthday.
Because it's mine, right?
Yep. You celebrate the whole month?
Yes. But yeah.
What month is it?
May.
October. Yeah, you celebrate the whole month.
Yes, of course.
It's my birthday. When? The whole month. And then I'm like, if I get a birthday present for someone, I go, well, didn't you just turn that age? Like, I'm like, so aren't you that age for the whole year? So isn't your birthday like the whole year until you turn another age?
Exactly.
And they're like, what? I'm like, well, think about it. It is.
It is. I love that. So I couldn't finish in April. I was sick, so I was out for the remainder of that year. And then I had her in November, so I went back to school in January, and I graduated in May with a 7-month-old. And then I got a job right out of high school. Was at First Data. Was there for a little bit. Bought my first house at 19.
Where was that?
That was in Westboro.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. Jeez,
Yes.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
First
And
Data.
we didn't want to rent a house. We wanted to like buy a house, but I had no credit. I didn't know what credit was.
Yeah.
And I had no credit. And so I had to figure out how to get credit. And then every time I got credit, it wasn't the right amount of credit. And so I kept asking these people, like, what do I have to do? So then I would do it. And then I'd call them back and they're like, well, no, you got to do this. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that 6 months ago. So it took time. But at 19 to buy your first house, and it was a brand new house, paid $128,900 for it and sold it 2 years later.
In
Made
what
it 90 in 99 we bought the
Okay.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I paid 128,000.
Yeah, my
for-
first house was in 2000 and we paid 130.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we sold it in 2001, I believe, and made $90,000 profit.
Yeah,
So that was
I think
nice.
we
Yeah.
did too.
I learned how to do that, but couldn't do that again. And so we did that. And
You're still in
you
that
know,
house now.
I'm in the house now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it was, is that when we moved in there with the idea of doing potential daycare. And so my husband had redone, the entire basement for that. And
Nice.
which is nice, because to go back to what you said about like being with the kids all day, and then at night I would joke with my parents because they were like, oh, I miss my kids, because they were working all day. And I'm like, well, I don't miss mine. I've been with them all day. Now I want to. So the only thing my doctor, my pediatrician, like was so against that I did, because I was a rule follower. So I would always she would say, do this. And I would, okay, I'm going to do that. And she was real with me because I was a young mom. I wanted to be perfection. I wanted to do everything perfect, but there's no rule book. There's no perfect. You do your best. So I remember going to her and she's like, no TVs in their room. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't lie to you. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a TV in their room. She's like, Kim. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but that was my time to unwind from kids all day. I'm like, here's your age appropriate show. And lights are out at 7:30 or 8, and that was it. But that was the only thing that I did against my pediatrician's wishes, was that, because I needed that time. And I used to have some parents that would be, oh, it must be nice. And I'm like, do you want to open a daycare? I'll help you. And I did, and they didn't last very long. So again, it's not, it all looks like sunshine and rainbows. And I have people even now, like some people are probably gloating on what happened to me. Sadly, that's just how life is. And I'm like, it's sad, but that's the world we live in. So
I just think that you deserve so much credit for being such a young mom and being able to find the path in your life that you did. I hope you take full appreciation of that for yourself, and that you allow yourself to embrace that part of you, because, and I'm sure there's a lot of people watching that's a possibility too, but I don't know if I could have done that. Like, I think I would have had no choice. I mean, obviously, because I definitely would have, there's no way I would have done anything else. But wow, how amazing. And Phil too, like, I mean, such young parents, and to be where you are now, like, you're like a remarkable vision of what other people should see. I believe in my heart. And the fact that you wanted to open your daycare center and give back is amazing. And what it makes me realize is that, one, you're a lot like me. So I feel like humans that are now living, well, spiritual beings that are living a human existence now here, we forget the truth about who we are, right? And so that's why I asked you, was this something in your soul that you always thought you wanted to do?
Yeah.
And I feel like you being a mom at the age of 16 gave you that idea of, wow, you know what? I love my daughter. I love her. And if I can be with her all day long, or with my children all day long, and still have the ability to earn money for my family, to bring in things for my family, then I'm going to find that way to do that. And a lot of us don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it definitely takes a certain personality, I feel. And it's funny because some people, and I'll never knock them, because, and this is one reason that I feel like I really have to fight this, is that not just for me, but my advocate, who's been amazing. She reminds me of my mother. She's a hoot. She's a great,
your mother.
yes, I know, me too. And she reminds me of her. And she's funny because she would tell me stories that would literally bring tears to my eyes and make my stomach hurt, about a single mom, many single moms that are doing daycare because they can't afford daycare. And then the state comes in and just rips away their livelihood. They're single moms. Like, how do you just come in? And again, I am not saying not make sure things are not safe. I am not saying don't do your job, because again, there are probably some daycares that are not doing the right thing. So I'm okay with that. I was okay with the investigation. I was not okay with how they handled anything after that.
So I own SuSanity in Sturbridge. It's a holistic wellness, health and wellness clinic. And for 5 years, I've been open. 5 years.
Mhm.
Every year I have to buy a solo license because I have my regular license for massage and then I have to get a solo license in polarity, and I had to get a solo license. So a couple months ago, the one from Boston, the girl comes and she's like, doing and everything was exactly the same. For 5 years, it's been exactly the same. No issues whatsoever. My files are over in the corner, like, whatever. And she's like, why are your files there? I'm like, what do you mean? They're always there. Well, they need to be in a locked file cabinet. I'm like, okay. I said, I understand that. But for 5 years, you've been coming here and you're the first person that said, which I understand. I'm not saying people don't go through my file. They're over in an office. They're not like wide open.
That's my problem, is that it should be
5
consistent.
years later, she wrote me up. I got a reprimand. So now when they come this time, which I got one, of course, because I'm not stupid, but I was like, 5 years.
No, it's probably the personality or the mood that they were in when they came. And that is what I'm hearing now that I never thought, because I am me. 24 hours a day, I am me.
I know
I get
you
it.
are.
And
I know, because I saw you at that nail place. Remember?
Yes.
You and Phil were going away to Florida? No, where were you going? Cancun?
I don't even remember. Mexico, I think. Dominican. Yeah, Mexico.
You were going to Mexico and you get your nails.
Yes.
Like, yeah. I was there with Michelle.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And it blows my mind and that's another thing that the providers are saying to me, is that every time their licensor would come in to visit them, they'd write them up for something different that they allowed the previous year.
Yep.
And again, okay, I understand they probably have a tough job as well, but where is what you should have guidelines to follow as well.
Yep.
You can't pick and choose who the rules apply to.
Right.
I even mine, like you would come to me, you'd write me up for something, but then you'd go to someone else's house and you don't write them up for that.
Yep.
That is not, safety is safety. You cannot pick and choose or even have an opinion on what safety is. Right.
Exactly.
So if I have something out and you're going to write me up for it, but you like Susie, then you're not going to write her up for it.
Yep.
You can't. And I feel that we are the only job. If you're at a job and you do something and you get written up, no one else knows about it, right? Our job, every single person can look me up and find out every single thing that I've ever done wrong in my life. That's another thing that scares providers. We're opening up our homes. Okay. We're already vulnerable. And now you're going to come in, instead of helping us, you're going to try to hurt us even more. I mean, I talk to providers all the time that are like, oh my God, I'm so sick to my stomach. I'm so nervous. I don't want to open the door. And I'm like, it shouldn't be like that. We should all be working together. You are overseeing us to make sure we're doing our job. I'm okay with that. That should be. But it shouldn't be a personality issue and you're just allowed to do what you want when you want. That is what I'm hearing from a lot of the providers.
Well, so a friend of mine is trying to open one in Brimfield. She's got a house in Brimfield. She bought a big enough house she could have one. And she's been jumping through hoops just to get her license to be able to open and things like that. And she's one of my clients, and I told her you were coming on the show. And it's like, oh my God. And she looked up and she's read your story and she was like, she's trying to open. She's like, oh my God. She's like, this is awful. I said, I know. She goes, I feel so bad. I'm like, yeah, me too. We're going to figure it out though. I said, but I know. And she said, and anyway, so we were talking about that. I was like, wow, this is just, and what you just said, it's not fair. If it's good for the goose, then it's good for the gander. And you can't just pick and choose whoever you feel like doing that with.
Because for me, Susan, I am a black or white. I don't like gray. So I'm a rule follower. You tell me this is what it's going to be, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like when we get into the agreement later, like I'm willing to do certain things, but I'm not willing to admit fault when your own investigation said that I did nothing wrong.
Yeah. So we are going on another quick break. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
My name is SuSanity Life. I'm the host here at the SuSanity Life show on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, which is Community Connection. We will be right back with Kimberly Adams, and she's going to tell you more about why we're talking like this after, because I feel like now we need to present what's going on so that the entire Worcester County and everyone else surrounding towns can see what she's been going through. And maybe we can share this so that she can get a little bit of assistance with this, because one, I hope she has a GoFundMe. Financially, she's in a distress right now. And two, this isn't right what's going on. So it needs to be out in the public eye a little bit more. So we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ricky Duran, and you're listening to Unity Radio on 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hi, I'm Storm, and I'm a part of the Bruce Wells Scholars Upward Bound program. The Upward Bound program is a program that helps many promising low-income, first-generation, college-bound Worcester High School students. After joining this program, I've learned many different and important life skills while making new connections and getting real-world experiences through internships and classes. If you're interested in any of these opportunities, you can find more information at www.sevenhills.org or 617-866-1293. That's www.sevenhills.org or 617-866-1293. A brighter future begins with you.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Q, host of the Woo 508, and I'm here with
your girl Liza, Miss Consistency.
And it's your girl Chantel in the building.
Yes, y'all. Go ahead and follow us everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the Woo 508. That's THEWOO 508. Woo!
Tell me again. Roll me a bone. Step into the groove. Now you're in the zone.
Kingdom Voice and Music and Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester, present a Black History Month celebration, Courage to Remember. Join us as we share powerful stories of African royalty, generational heritage, and our living legends through music, theater, and dance. Our Black History Month celebration, Courage to Remember, also highlights Alzheimer's and dementia in the African American community, providing resources, awareness, and hope, alongside cultural food and local vendors showcasing their work. Don't miss our Black History Month celebration, Courage to Remember, February 28th at the Pryor Performing Arts Center in Worcester. For more information, visit kirosha.com/Black History, KIROSHA.com/Black History. Black History Month celebration, Courage to Remember. Celebrate with us.
Let's talk, Worcester. Unity 97.9.
Well, hello, guys. Welcome back. My name is SuSanity Life. I'm the host here at SuSanity Life show on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection, here with this amazing woman, Kimberly Adams, while she discusses her life story, her journey, and now a little bit more about her daycare. And I was just telling her, we were just talking about people, right? And how people aren't always who they seem in different ways, right? And it's almost like, and it's so funny we're talking about this because I have a very close friend, a couple of them actually, but this particular one that went through a similar situation with a motorcycle accident, a couple of them actually that I did. And they've been going through this trajectory too, where like you feel like these people are put into your life and they're good for your life. And then all of a sudden, when you're going through something catastrophic, it's like, poof, they're gone, or they're putting it in your whatever, putting it in your face or making you feel bad about it for whatever reason, instead of like being like, well, what can I do? How can I help you? Mm-hmm. Like, what is it that you need from me to be your friend? And it goes back to my motorcycle accident when I thought that I had all these people in my sphere of life. And people always say, when I die, I want to know who's going to be coming to my funeral because, right? And so when I got in the accident, I needed people at that time. And they all came to see me at the hospital, and they came to see me at the rehab. And when I was in rehab for 3 months, but when I got home and I didn't have a driver's license for 6 months because I was having seizures, nobody came. I mean, a few people came. That's a lie. Sorry. A few people came, but people that I thought were closest to me, they didn't come. And I understand now why. I think that they told me they couldn't stand seeing me like that. It was too hard. And so anyway, I won't go back to that. So I think what happens is that when you're going through something that your friends or family members or whatever can't understand, it's almost like they stay over here because they don't know how to help us, right? Because they don't want to say the wrong thing and they don't know what to do. And that's kind of what they said to me. Well, you had your mom there, your Peter was there, we thought you were okay and you didn't ask. And I was like, well, I didn't know that I had to ask. And
right,
they're like,
because
well,
we wouldn't have to, we would be there, right?
Exactly.
So
and that was the
thing. Hard to understand, right?
Yes.
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 I know.
Yes.
Yes.
But then they explained to me, well, it was hard enough to see you in that moment. Like I didn't, but if you had asked like, well, and sometimes I'm like, so I guess you have to ask to get help. but maybe you do have to ask, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that's just the point to what you're saying.
Yes.
So if you're feeling, I think I'm supposed to tell you this. I don't know why someone's telling me to tell you. If you're feeling that, I think sometimes we don't ask. Because we're so used to doing everything ourselves. 16, you had a baby. Now, Phil, a father, mother, 16 years old. Boom. Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
Now you're figuring out what to do with your life, marriage, kids, a house.
We were kids raising kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a human to handle at an age where you're supposed to be just enjoying life, which I'm sure you did that too in different ways.
Thankfully for my mother.
Right. And so I think that because of that, and because we're mom, which we were just talking about that before we went on to break, we were talking about being a mom and how we love our significant others, our husbands, our partners, people that decide to join us if we're not married anymore or whatever. But a lot of people don't realize that as a mom, specifically as a mom, every single piece of who we are becomes that child, those children.
Yes.
Always, because they're part of our soul.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
And so when they're going through something, we feel it or whatever. And now you own a daycare center and you've got all these little kids who are running around, and now your energy is with them and you're trying to give them guidance and you are doing that to the best of your ability. And I can feel that from you. I can feel your energy. Like I can tell that that's who you are as a human. So what happened to you was 100% wrong. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about what happened so we can get a little bit of that story out now.
Okay. So I have been a licensed daycare provider since I was 23 years old. So that's 24 years of in my home taking care of children. And on in January, I had a licensor come to my home to do her regular annual visit. And I was inside changing a baby's diaper, but I heard my English Mastiffs barking loud. Now, they are very cuddly. Yep. If you don't love dogs, I get that they can be scary, but they're not. They're known to be family dogs. When I first got the dogs, because I wasn't a dog person. I just wasn't an animal lover. I just loved kids and whatever. I just didn't need the extra. We looked them up, and their temperament is best for families and children. They're gentle giants, truly. They were going nuts at the door. I mean, I heard them outside. They were having water, and I heard them barking like they're letting me know someone's there. I couldn't get to whoever it was at the front door. So I had heard them barking, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're coming around, whatever. So I came around, and she was coming through my garage door, which is an entrance to my daycare, but not one that parents or anybody uses. That's where the dogs are. So she comes through, tells me she was attacked, all of these things, and then boom, never reports it, says nothing about it after that. I'm like, okay, I wrote up an incident report, called it what it was. In July, she came back again, and I was closed. I was sick, and I never close. My parents will tell you, like, if I usually don't get sick, but this time I was really, really sick. So I had the vomiting bug, whatever. So I couldn't work. That's not fair to kids. I can't do that. So I was closed. My husband was home getting ready for my daughter's graduation party, and the dogs were outside with him. They're not normally out there when I'm running daycare because it's just not, I can't watch dogs and kids. Like, it's just not part of it. So
you have a separate space.
I have a separate space. Okay. Yep, separate space.
But she decided to walk through where they were?
So in January, she decided to open the gate, hearing them barking, push through the gate, come through my garage door, and enter my daycare. Okay. So you had to open the gate, which says, beware of dogs, do not enter. They're barking. Again, like, it's just frustrating. So, okay, fine, whatever. That happens. She leaves, fine. That's all said and done. Not reported. Nothing was documented except for me.
Now, did she have one of her children was
This was my licensor. This was the licensor for the site.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was nothing.
You said that. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. So it comes back in July. The dogs are outside with my husband. They walk up the driveway, the licensor and the licensing supervisor. You can see the dogs. They're right there in plain sight. I don't have a big enough driveway where they're hiding. Now,
so this is, do you hear this? Sorry.
That's okay.
This is the person that was coming to check her license. This is what this is about.
And she's been coming to my house for 12 years. I've had this licensor for 12 years. They know I have animals. I don't understand it. No problem. Yeah. So July, when she comes, my dog, now mind you, she's a puppy. So puppies' tendencies, English Mastiffs are not jumpers. You can look it up. That's not what they do. Puppies, yes, they have those tendencies. Not saying it's right. I'm not condoning it, but they would not be out there if my business was open. The dog ran over and she did jump on her shoulder. My husband saw it. Whatever. He's like, Kim's closed today. They come to the front door. They come to the front door, ring the bell. I answer it. Never tells me they were bit. Never tells me my dog jumped on them. Never tells me anything. My husband was like, oh, Rousey jumped on her. I'm like, oh my God, was she okay? Yep, everything was fine. Never said anything to anybody. They leave. I go back to bed. I get woken up from a phone call from the animal control officer saying that somebody reported a bite. Okay, now what? So I said, okay, what do I got to do? She's like, you got to put the dog in quarantine for 10 days. Okay. Again, this is all new to me, Susan. I never ran my program in a way that I ever had to worry about anything extra, right?
Yeah.
My job is to watch the kids, make them safe. My program's set up for safety. No issues. You know, if they scuff their leg, whatever, that's different than something to this extent. So I get a phone call then from the licensing supervisor and the licensor after that telling me that she was bit. I'm like, okay, so now what? They're like, oh, well, you're going to have to wait. I got to talk to the supervisor. Then he calls me back. He's like, well, now again, I don't know any of this. I'm in tears. I'm sobbing. I'm like, this is the second time that this woman has said this. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, this supposedly happened back in January. They had zero documentation of it. So now they're using my incident that I reported and they're using it against me, saying that this is the second time that my dogs bit somebody. Well, it's never been reported. So it's crazy. So then I do the investigation. No, I'm sorry. So back up. So then the licensing supervisor had told me that I had a couple options. One would be to sign a voluntary inactive status, which means that I'm voluntarily inactivating my license while they do the investigation. I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that means. Then he says, or we're going to do an emergency shutdown. And I'm like, oh, that sounds scary. Like, what is that? Well, I know now they should be explaining this to me and letting me know what the severity is of both options, right? I don't know any of this. So then I said, okay, well, what if I don't sign that? What happens then? Well, if you don't sign the voluntary inactive status, we're going to do the emergency shutdown. Well, that's not voluntary. That's coercion, right? Because it's now worse. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess. And I said, and he goes, well, but sometimes providers will come up with a safety plan. And if we find that adequate enough, then we will allow you to open. Okay. And I get off the phone and type up a safety plan. I'll buy muzzles. I'll remove the dogs from the property. I will have my husband put up a kennel. That was ignored. Totally ignored me. So now I'm like, well, I can't open. This was on a Thursday. This was July 31st. August 1st, I don't open up. And now I'm even more sick. And I'm like, am I sick from what happened? What is happening? I get a phone call from the investigator. She's going to come out and do an investigation. She did a thorough investigation. She called all of the parents in my daycare. She talked to animal control. And she talked to staff, her staff members. They wrote up the report. They found me to have no noncompliances, no safety issues, and my dogs did not pose a threat to the children in care. Now they're trying to change that. And now I should have been able to just reopen after that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. And they came up with a legal agreement that I had to sign. And I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. My advocate who's been doing this for 40 years is beside herself. She was a licensor for that same agency for 20 years. And now she advocates for providers that this happens to. And it happens all the time. And it's crazy.
So in January, the licensed person came to check your place and she supposedly your Mastiff jumped on her. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
And then she never reported it.
No. So then, but it went from being attacked when she was at my house, called me an hour later to say that she was scratched. And then in the investigation report said that the dog bit the back of her pants and put a hole.
Okay. And then in June, did you say that?
In July, she came back again.
She came back again.
I was closed.
What did she come back for in July?
I know, an anonymous complaint that I had on my daycare that I've never had in 24 years.
So wait, even though in January she came and she was technically, allegedly, that's the word.
Yes,
allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly bit or whatever, jumped on by your dog. That's just crazy.
Yeah. So again,
she came back. It makes no sense.
And this is
none of this makes any. And how come they're not using this into the investigation? She came in January. This happened to her. She still was working on your property.
Oh no, she memorialized the incident. So in July, she memorialized the January incident because she never reported it. There was no document
memorialized,
meaning that she remembered now all of a sudden what happened and she wrote it down because they had zero documentation.
Oh, she didn't remember what happened in January.
Yes, I know. I'm so God, my heart.
This is awful. We shouldn't be laughing.
No,
We're going to talk more about this when we come back. Yeah, we got another 12 minutes. So guys, my name is Ouellette. I'm the host here at SuSanity Life show with Kimberly Adams on Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection. We're talking a little bit more about the way that the world works, right? And how things can be so misconstrued at times and misunderstood at times. And we'll be right back.
Unity Radio.
Just kicking around. We discovered a love that had never been found.
Worcester, we got you.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Breakfast presents Celebrating Unity and Hope. Monday, January 19th, 2026. Doors open at 7 a.m. Program begins at 8 a.m. Keynote speaker, Dr. Jennifer Davis Carey of the Worcester Educational Collaborative. Join us at Assumption University, 500 Salisbury Street, Worcester, Mass. Purchase tickets and find more information at qcc.edu/MLK Breakfast.
Are you ready?
Hi, I'm Gary. And I'm Steve. And we're the hosts of Cannabis 101 on Unity Radio 97.9 FM.
Join us and our guests on Thursdays at 3 p.m. as we discuss the cannabis industry in Central Mass with energy, excitement, and passion.
We both take pride in providing you important information about the rapid growing cannabis industry. Support for Cannabis 101 is provided by Cannabis of Worcester on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection.
Tune into the SuSanity Life with SuSanity Life. And together, we will find our way to a healthier, healing lifestyle by listening to empowering stories of overcoming our struggles. Join me, SuSanity Life, on the SuSanity Life every Wednesday from 5 to 6 on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. See you soon.
Activa la radio y Unity Radio 97.9 FM te invitan a escuchar el bloque latino todos los sábados de 7 de la mañana hasta la 1 de la tarde por los 97.9 FM en la ciudad de Worcester.
Hi, this is Raymond Lopolito, the general manager of the Worcester Smiles Football Club, and you're listening to Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hey guys, welcome back. My name is SuSanity Life. I'm the host here at the SuSanity Life show on Unity Radio 97.9 FM with Community Connection. And I'm here with Kimberly Adams, and we're talking about the situation that's going on with her daycare, which is catastrophically crazy to me, this whole thing. And when we left, we were talking about the fact that I'm going to read you what she wrote. She, where is it now that I just read here? Crap. 1 second. So what you said was that they after they investigated, they basically said that everything was okay. There was nothing going on. They didn't find any reason why you couldn't reopen. And then all of a sudden that flipped, kind of. You also just said that even though she's saying that she allegedly, I'm going to use that word allegedly, because that's what they always use all over TV, that she allegedly got bit. There's no, in her pants, there wasn't an actual physical bite or anything like that. That she doesn't wear, that I asked you where the pants were. There's been no evidence of the pants with the hole in them. And that even though this happened in January of that year, nothing happened for 6 months. You were open, running your daycare with no problem with the dogs. And then in July, she showed up with a supervisor or something like that. And then all of a sudden now all this stuff is upside down and inside out in a million pieces.
Oh, and the supervisor that was behind the licensor admitted that he didn't see anything. So in the report, it states he didn't. How are you not going to see a mastiff bite? And I'm not trying to condone or say by any means that my dog should have jumped. She should not have. However, to take away someone's livelihood based on an opinion, or we have to prove that, she did something wrong. If I did something wrong, I would admit to it. Okay.
So you've been open for 25 years, right?
Almost
25 years. This person that comes to your house to do the licensing or whatever, did she had never gone through that doorway before?
No.
Okay. So that to me is like, all right, so this is totally, so what happened that she even did that in the first place? One, and two, like, it's been 24 years of her coming, like that makes,
I'm visited by the state twice a month for the YMCA.
Yeah.
And I'm visited by the food program once every 3 months. And they wrote letters. There's never been an issue with anybody. My parents, I had parents calling, asking, okay, can you be transparent? If she has a vicious dog there, my and again, they did their due diligence as parents. They ignored them. But if you called to complain about me, they'd be answering the phone. And that's what I have a really hard time with, because I just want justice. I just want it to be fair, and I want it to be appropriate. If my dog did something wrong, then I'll own it. And I would have got rid of the dogs, or I would have gave up daycare. But to have nothing happen and to just rip away my livelihood and with no care in the world. I mean, I called every day. I emailed every day. We had meetings that they were not prepared for. And it was like, no big deal. Like, oh, well, whatever.
It just seems to me like there's no evidence.
There's not. I've asked for proof. And she even admitted in the report to the investigator that she was in a spot she should not have been in. That is in writing. So why is this such a big, so now essentially you're closing me down for something that happened on a day that my program wasn't running. And that is just what's crazy to me. It's just absolutely insane.
So you have a court case right now going
I do,
on.
yeah. So I went to court. Had a magistrate meeting today with my lawyer, my advocate, and EEC's attorney. And we have to go back. And it's DALA, it's the Division of Administrative Legal Appeals. It's the only option I have. Now, mind you, when they took my license after stringing me along for 3.5 months, you only have 21 days to fight for your livelihood. So now I've been out of work for 3.5 months. And some people say, well, just get another job. Okay, but it's not that easy, because I don't even know where to turn.
Plus, like 24 years of this. Like, how are you just gonna, like, this is your livelihood. This is what you love.
So then I was like, oh my God, I was in tears and I was like so defeated. I'm like, what do I do? And my sister's like, Kim, you got to swallow your pride. We got to do a GoFundMe.
Yeah. So she has a GoFundMe. Maybe it should be called GoFundMe.
Yeah.
A GoFundMe at Kim Adams.
Yes.
Circle of Friends.
Yes.
So if you guys could share this, and let's try to help her, because this is financially a distress for the entire family, for her husband, her children, her home. She's not getting any compensation whatsoever right now because of this investigation. And she also has to pay a lawyer. I'm going to talk to Oscar about possibly putting it on our page too, so that you guys can come on and just click on it and just donate whatever you can afford, $10, $20, $30, $100, whatever, so that we can help her get through this. Because this is crazy, this whole story. And I feel like no matter what, she's right up open in front. Allegedly, this whole thing is going on. It's not like she's hiding in the background being like, no, I didn't do it. Like, she's willing to come up front and say things, and no one's like listening to her. And that's not right. It's like that story, Tell Hank or something like that.
Well, I did.
Whatever.
So that's what I did. That's what I had finally reached out to, because I had so many people saying, call the governor, call this one, call that one. I have reached out to everybody. I've spoke to Senator Fatman's office. I've spoke to a Representative Joe McKenna's office. I am having a meeting with them about legislation changes, because I'm like, I am the fight. My advocate said to me, and I can share this because she has said it, is like, she's like, I've won many battles, Kim, but never the war, because providers just get so tired that they either roll over. And the thing is people say, well, just sign the agreement. What's the big deal? It wasn't an agreement. It was a trap.
Yeah.
Had I signed that, my business would have been closed down. They wanted me to put in an agreement admitting fault when their own investigation report said otherwise. And then if I admit fault, well, then there goes my insurance. There goes, if it's saying that my dog's bit and I'm admitting to that, that's not who I am. I'm not admitting to something I didn't do, or my dogs didn't do. They didn't. And everyone's like, oh, well, dogs, I'm on TikTok, and some people are like with their opinions, and that's fine. You don't have to like big dogs, but then you don't have to come to my program. I'm very honest and upfront and transparent with the parents. All of my parents love the dogs. They know that if anyone ever tried to break in, those dogs are not going to let anything happen to their babies. Again, you have to have supervision and safety. That has been my biggest thing for my 24 years of life, is that I treat them as my own. I would not want my own kid at risk. Why would I put someone else's?
And then it goes back to the simple fact. We're going to go back all the way back again. It goes back to the simple fact that your children don't even go through where the dogs are. The dogs are contained. They have their own little space. And this person went through the wrong way, and this whole situation happened. But even though it happened, she didn't talk about it for 6 months. never put anything on paper about it. And all of a sudden 6 months later, so you got to wonder too, what the deep rooted situation of this. And it seems like it's a lot deeper than what we're seeing on the outside.
Right. And I know that
it.
their job is not easy. And I don't want to come across and make it look like I'm not willing to work with them. I offered them 3 different safety plans. I understood their position. They don't know me. They don't know my animals. I get that they're an agency that has to protect the children. However, in this situation, that's not what's happening. And like I said, I could give up and walk away, but why should I have to?
And here's the thing. I don't think you're supposed to. So I'm going to go into my mediumship kind of thing. I don't feel like you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to be the voice for the ones that don't have a voice, if that makes sense.
That's
and
what
I
I
think
feel.
your mom 100%, like I can feel her right now. I've got this like, woo. I feel like you have the ability to do that because you are strong. And yes, you are strong, and you have the power inside of you because you have the people around you that you do that love you and care for you and understand. And you grew up in a place like that too. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like, even though sometimes we have to learn lessons,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We either teach them or learn them. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a teaching lesson for you because you need to be the voice for those people that don't have the voice. And that you just said it. She just said it. Did you hear what she said? She just said what you said, that your advocate said to you, that people do have situations like this, but they don't look outside the box. They only pay attention to what's written on paper or what somebody has said or whatever, instead of being like, wait a minute, like, I don't deserve this. This is not something I deserve. And I'm going to fight for what I believe. And
Right.
I'm and I have a feeling in my heart that you're going to win anyways. But good for you for standing up for those that can't speak.
Well, that's my biggest thing, honestly, because I could find something else, but I wouldn't love it, but I feel like I have to fight for them because it's not right. Our jobs are not easy, and to just have the ability and the power to use it and arbitrarily just do this to people, it's overreach. I'm sorry, and it's nothing personal, but they need to really reevaluate what they do to people, and it's my job to fight for that because
Absolutely.
I have to.
Well, I'm so grateful that you came on today.
Thank you.
And that you shared your story. And again, guys, we're going to have a lot of her information on our page. And then it's Kim Adams, Circle of Friends, GoFundMe. If you could donate and just help them with this, that would be awesome. If you could share this and to whatever you have to share it to, so we can help her, because this is just not right. And I think collectively, as her friends and people in the Worcester County area and all the areas, Leicester and everything, that we can help her. So guys, thank you so much for being here. My name is SuSanity Life, here with Kimberly Adams and my amazing producer, Oscar, at Unity Radio 97.9 FM with Community Connection, telling you guys to have a great day and see you soon.